ولا تخالطه الظنون ولا يصفه الواصفون ولا تغيره الحوادث ولا يخشى الدوائر يعلم مثاقيل الجبال ومكائيل البحار وعدد قطر الأمطار وعدد ورق الأشجار وعدد ما أظلم عليه الليل وما أشرق عليه النهار ولا تواري منه سماء سماء ولا أرض أرضا الحلال ما أحللت والحرام ما حرمت والدين ما شرعت والأمر ما قضيت الخلق خلقك والعبد عبدك وأنت الله الرؤوف الرحيم. وصلى الله تعالى على حبيبه ونبيه صلى الله عليه وسلم. أما بعد، وقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في كتابه المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم: يا أيها الناس كلوا مما في الأرض حلالا طيبا ولا تتبعوا خطوات الشيطان إنه لكم عدو مبين. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه قال: ما عاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم طعاما قط إن اشتهاه أكله وإن كرهه تركه. متفق عليه. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Hope everyone is doing well today. Inshallah, we'll start soon. Waiting for our few more brothers to join in. Inshallah, we'll start shortly. وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. To those who have just joined. Okay, inshallah, my dear respected brothers and sisters, today we will start from our, inshallah, Surah Ahzab and finish our 22nd juz. So looking at Surah Ahzab, understanding that there are a couple of topics, really four main topics that are discussed in Surah Ahzab. Ahzab, it was known as the Battle of Ahzab. It is also known as the Battle of Khandaq, right? The Battle of the Now, after facing a heavy defeat, Quraysh were unsatisfied. Obviously, they were angry at the Muslims. They said, we have to retaliate, we have to take revenge, we have to do something, we have to take care of them. So they, along with a couple of other tribes, they said, let's get together and let's attack Medina. Right, so Banu Ghatfan, they paired up with Banu Ghatfan, Banu Aslam, Banu Murrah, Banu Ashja', Banu Kinana, and Quraysh themselves, and a couple of other tribes. They paired up together and they said, let's go and attack Medina now. Take revenge for what happened on Badr. So now their number was roughly somewhere between 12 to 15,000. was roughly somewhere between 12 to 15,000. So the news reached, excuse me, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Rasulullah sought the mashwara of his companions. Salman Farsi radiallahu anhu said, Ya Rasulullah, let us build trenches. Let us build a trench around Medina. Right. So this trench was a couple of miles long, and it was and this was the idea this was the advice that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had taken, the advice of Salman Farsi radiallahu anhu, and the trench was built. Now, it was, like is mentioned, it was a few miles long, and it was the depth of which was nearly 5 feet. So this lasted nearly 1 month. Lasted nearly a month that they would fight back and forth, because now not all of the mushrikeen, because Muslims stayed, because they barricaded themselves, and the trench was there to protect them, right? Not all Muslims crossed and went to the other side, and not all of the kuffar could come to this side, right? So some of them obviously managed to come. For example, Amr ibn Abdul Wud, he was able to come, a few others were able to come. Obviously, they were defeated. And whilst others just shot arrows, they threw stones, whatever they had. So it was a war that nearly lasted a month, and this would go back and forth. Nevertheless, at the end, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent a devastating wind, which blew their camps away, and they retreated. They went back. The war itself, Battle of Khandaq, Battle of Ahzab, lasted nearly 1 month. Right. Now, one thing to mention is that we all know the famous story of Sa'ad bin Mu'adh radiallahu anh. He was one of the martyrs of this battle. When Sa'ad bin Mu'adh radiallahu anh, subhanAllah, this is, and I mention this because this is a great lesson for us. This is a source of motivation for us, subhanAllah. Sa'ad bin Mu'adh radiallahu anh, who was a Muslim for nearly 5 to 6 years. A Muslim, was a youngster. He wasn't too old. He was a young person who was a Muslim for nearly 5 or 6 years. When he passed away, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Ihtazza arsh ar-Rahman bi-mawt Sa'ad bin Mu'adh." That today the arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is shaking, not out of fear, out of joy, over the death of Sa'ad bin Mu'adh. That Sa'ad bin Mu'adh now obviously is returning back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is the same incident we find with what happened to Uhud. On one occasion, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, along with Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, Umar radiallahu anhu, and Uthman radiallahu anhu, they were on Mount Uhud. Mount Uhud began to shake, began to tremble, and this was out of joy. Mount Uhud was overwhelmed with joy. Similarly, just as how the Arsh was overwhelmed over the death of Sa'ad bin Mu'adh. So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "O Uhud, stop shaking. For verily you have a Nabi on you, a Siddiq, and 2 Shuhada." Right? So Allahu Akbar, my dear respected brothers and sisters, I'm just going to elaborate a little, and then inshallah we'll move forward. This is what we need to understand, and this is what we need to say to ourselves, right? We want to live a life where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is happy with us, where angels are happy, that we are moving on to the next life, that Allahu Akbar, we are happy that we are leaving this earth. We are happy that we're leaving this world, right? And this was the case for Sa'ad bin Mu'adh radiallahu anhu, subhanAllah, who was a Muslim for only 6 years. But when he passed away, اهتز عرش الرحمن لموت سعد بن معاذ. The arsh of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shook, started shaking out of joy for over the death of Sa'ad bin Mu'adh radiallahu anhu, right? Allahu Akbar. So this is the death that we need to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ya Allah, you are pleased with us. Right, and this is the dua that we need to make. Allahumma inni as'aluka ridaka wal jannah wa na'udhu bika wa a'udhu bika min sakhatika wan nar. The pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes way before Jannah, and the anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala comes prior to the punishment of Jahannam. Right? So it is the pleasure of Allah that we need to seek. When he passed away, the munafiqeen started saying that his janazah is very light. Why is it that his janazah is very light? So Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, it is because angels are carrying his janazah. And Abdullah bin Umar radiallahu anhu said, the day Sa'ad bin Mu'adh radiallahu anhu, he passed away, 70,000 angels had been present that day to pray his janazah. 70,000, and he passed away because of a wound which he incurred during the Battle of Khandaq, right? So this is one of the things that I needed to mention. However, there are a few other things, a few other adab that are coming in this surah that we will talk about. Right now, we won't get into Surah Ahzab and the full details of Surah Ahzab. Obviously, just talking about Surah Ahzab will take us nearly just 30 minutes and it'll become hard for us to finish. And also in this surah, there were certain practices that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needed to nullify. So this surah also talks about it. Now, looking at ayah number 37, the next page from the 22nd juz. فَلَمَّا قَضَى زَيْدٌ مِّنْهَا وَطَرًا زوجناكها لكي لا يكون على المؤمنين حرج في أزواج أدعيائهم إذا قضوا منهن وطرا وكان أمر الله مفعولا. This was also one practice, one custom that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala needed to nullify. He wanted to nullify. That needed to be nullified. Cancelled. And what was this practice? This practice was that adopted sons, adiyah, right? Adopted sons, or in Urdu they say mupola vida, right? Now the case with them was that you couldn't marry the father, so the father couldn't marry the mutallaqa, divorced wife of his adopted son. Right? So this was something, it was looked at something that was bad. It wasn't, it shouldn't have been done. This is what Kuffar used to say. Right? This is something that's bad, and a father shouldn't marry the wife, the mutallaqa. Zayd bin Harith radiallahu anh, along with Zayd bin Haritha radiallahu anh, Allahu alam, Allah ta'ala knows best. It's been said that he wouldn't get along with, and subhanAllah, this is the hikmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? He wouldn't get along with Zainab bint Jahash radiallahu anha. They obviously, the natures wouldn't meet, or Allahu alam. So for that reason, he wanted to let her go, right? So فلما قضى زيد منها وطرا زوجناكها لكي لا يكون على المؤمنين حرج في أزواج أدعيائهم. Obviously, now there's so much wisdom of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as to why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to marry Zainab bint Jahsh radiallahu anha. There are so many reasons, right? So many, subhanAllah, today people talk about that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had many wives. Allahu Akbar. Little do they know, there's so much wisdom, and there are so many things that we don't know, right? That people don't know, that are behind, the reason why he was married to, the wives, right? So even Zainab bint Jahsh radiallahu anha, there were many other reasons, right, as to why he got married to Zainab bint Jahsh radiallahu anha. But one of them was, so لكي لا يكون على المؤمنين حرج في أزواج أدعيائهم. One of the reasons was to nullify this practice, to nullify this custom, that it is okay. You can marry the father, right? Can marry the mutallaqa wife of his adopted son. This was one thing that also needed to be taken care of. Another thing now, this is inshallah we'll take a little time on. Ayah number 53, right? Looking at ayah number 53. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تدخلوا بيوت النبي إلا أن يؤذن لكم إلى طعام غير ناظرين إناه ولكن إذا دعيتم فادخلوا فإذا طعمتم فانتشروا ولا مستأنسين لحديث إن ذلكم كان يؤذي النبي فيستحيي منكم والله لا يستحيي من الحق إلى آخر الآية، إلى آخره. Now, this was after, now this is at the time of the walima of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Zainab bint Jahash radiallahu anha. What happened was that few people, they had come early to the house of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, or to wherever this was taking place. They had come early, right? When the food wasn't even ready. So they had come, they came prior to the time that was given to them, right? This was one thing that happened. Obviously, this is something that, it causes a person pain, causes pain to someone. And the other was that after the walima was done, there were those who remained back and they started talking, right? This is, now what I mentioned, this isn't only, now it's not specific with Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, these ayahs, but it's with everyone else as well, right? These are adab. First and foremost, you have to understand that we should try our best. If someone invites us, right, if the guest, or sorry, if the host invites the guest at 6 o'clock, it's best for him to come at 6 o'clock, right? Now, what happens with us is now two things what people do. Three things, right? A is that people, and I've noticed this as well with some people, is that you call them at 6 o'clock, for instance, right? There's a dawah at 6 o'clock, or there's a dawah at 8 o'clock. They'll show up at 7:30, or they'll show up at 7:15. Now, what happens is, subhanAllah, the host, they calculate everything. They say, the food, the food is on the stove, pot's on the stove. It'll take this much time. By the time you get ready, it'll be around 8 o'clock, and that's or 7 o'clock, and that's when the guests will show up, right? Now what happens is 6:15 guests show up, right? Some of us show up, or 6:30 some of us show up. When the time was 7 o'clock. Now what happens? SubhanAllah, some of the family members have to take their showers. Some of the family, now the food is not even set, or the husband is somewhere else. He's outside. He's busy outside. He has to get something, or the wife, she's busy with the kids. The kids are not ready. Now alhamdulillah, the guests are here. So these, SubhanAllah, this is a person. At times we think that we're doing the right thing, but we're actually going against the teachings of Islam, like against the adab of Islam. Excuse me. This is something that we have to understand, that causing, a Muslim pain, this is something that we should abstain. Or whether you cause them physical pain, obviously, this is something we talked about yesterday, that this shouldn't even be done. But even like emotional pain, right? This is something that shouldn't be done as well, right? So that's one scenario, right? People show up early, and we tend to say that we are showing up early, so we don't cause any pain to the guest, and so they know we'll come early and we'll leave early. No, that shouldn't be the case. Inshallah, we'll get more talking more about this, about the adab of eating and all that stuff. Now, what others do is that they show up late. For example, you have guests who show up right in the middle of food. SubhanAllah. So you call them at 7 o'clock, right? 7:15 is when everything is going to be set out. 7:30 or 7:45 they show up, and SubhanAllah, everything, it takes a toll, right? So this is something that we also need to take care of. Moving forward to a couple of adab we need to look at right now is that, this can go for, now this is adab of eating, right? And adab of eating, now this is to be practiced in your homes and if you eat elsewhere, right? So this isn't only if you go to someone else's house, right? This is for your house as well. So Umar bin Abi Salama radiallahu anhu says, كنت غلاما. He said, I was a small boy, right? وكانت يدي تطيش في الصحفة. This one time I was eating and my hand would go all over the place, right? So meaning that, just elaborating on this, he said my hand would go here, go here, go here. So فقال لي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم. So Rasulullah صلى الله عليه وسلم, he said to me, سم الله. Say the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وكل بيمينك وكل مما يليك. Right? Say the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, eat with your right hand and eat what is close to you, what is closest to you. Right? Subhanallah. Now, this happens as well, and this is something we need to teach our children. This is something that we need to embed in our hearts and our minds as well. Now, for instance, if you have a slice of pizza, this is a good example, right? And the family's eating a slice of pizza. Now, you see and you find, and this is what children do at times, because let's say the slices, they're not cut evenly, right? On the other side, there's a slice that's a bigger slice, right? And on your side, you find a small slice, right? So at times, what we do is that we stretch our arm and we stretch our hands and we try to get it, right? This is, as Rasulullah said, كُلْ مِمَّا يَلِيكَ. This is going against adab of eating, right? You should eat what is closest to you, right? So there's one time, and subhanAllah, this is so beautiful. There's one time Rasulullah was eating dates with someone, right? So this one person, he started going here, his hand started going here and there and here and there. So Rasulullah said, كُلْ مِمَّا يَلِيكَ. Eat what is closest to you. He said, okay, and he started eating what was closest to him. This other time, Rasulullah started eating. Now, Rasulullah, his hand would go here and his hand would go there. So that person asked, he said, Ya Rasulullah, what, you told me, Kul mimma yadik, right? Eat what is closest to you. So, Ya Rasulullah, why are you doing this? Right? So Rasulullah said, that time when I had told you to eat what is closest to you, that time there was only one type of date, right? But if there's a lot of variety, right? The next time Rasulullah was eating, there are different types of dates, right? And the same example we can find when it comes to donuts or when it comes to timbits, right? For example, you have a box of donuts, right? You have a dozen donuts. All are chocolate dip, right? All are chocolate dip or chocolate donuts, right? Now, at that point, you should eat what is closest to you. Your hand doesn't need to go right, your hand doesn't need to go left, doesn't need to go anywhere else, north, east, south, west, doesn't need to go anywhere else. Eat what is closest to you, right? But on the other hand, if you have assorted donuts or assorted timbits, then that's fine, right? Because now there's a chocolate donut, there's honey cruller, there's this, there's that, there's that. Your hand, okay, at that point, okay, you wish to eat a honey cruller, and that is all the way at the end of, it's in one corner. It's okay, your hand can go there at that time, right? That's not going against adab. Right? This is something that we need to teach our children, right? So, like I said, it's all talking about adab. Just diving into the tafsir of this ayah. It also talks about life and about hosting. Inshallah, we'll talk about that as well. but talking about the adab of eating first. And one of the biggest, subhanAllah, this is such a great quality that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had. That as Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu mentions, مَعَابَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ طَعَامًا قَطُّ. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam never criticized any food. مَعَابَ رَسُولُ اللَّهِ صَلَى اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ وَسَلَّمْ طَعَامًا قَطُّ. He never criticized. إِنْ اشْتَهَاهُ أَكَلُهُ. If he liked it, right, he would eat it, he would consume it. وَإِنْ كَرِهَهُ تَرَكَهُ. And if he disliked something, if he disliked it, he would leave it. That's it. Right? This is something that we need to teach our children. At times, this is something that we need to have as well. How we say, green is icky. So we say, subhanAllah, I should say, that we say everything, we say green, everything green, everything green is icky and we shouldn't eat it. It's disgusting. For example, you have the broccoli, all your greens, you have broccoli, then you have Brussels sprouts, and you have lettuce, you have this, all the greens basically, right? The vegetables and all that. So this is, subhanAllah, something that we need to teach our children. Okay, we understand that every person, some people, they like pizza, some others don't. Some like burgers, others don't. Some like broccoli, others don't. Okay, obviously this is something that you should eat. You should treat it as a ni'mah and a blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But to say that ill and to find flaws and to find defects in it. This is something that shouldn't be done, right? And subhanAllah, this is a quality of our elders as well, right? No matter how salty or how sweet food may be, they would never criticize it. Right? Like this one time, subhanAllah, this one person, she invited a sheikh to her house, right? Assuming she was either the relative or Allahu Alam. So she invited the sheikh to her house, and she said, here you go, have some food. And the sheikh started eating. So, but she didn't eat, obviously. Her husband was there as well, but she didn't eat at that time, right? So the sheikh started eating. That scholar, he started eating. He obviously, and okay, we'll get to the adab of life after. But at this point, so what happened was he said that the food is very good. The food is very nice. Alhamdulillah, may Allah reward you. This and that, etc. And he went away. Right? When she tried the food herself, she found that there was so much salt in the food, and it happens. Sometimes we add too much salt, or sometimes we're humans. It's okay. It happens. You add too much salt, or you add too much sugar. So she tried it, and she said, "Subhanallah, it's so salty." But this person, it's Allahu Akbar, And then she realized that these elders, subhanAllah, they and this is one quality that everyone needs to have, right? That and this is a quality that a guest needs to have, right? For example, you go to someone's house, right? So they're both connected. Adab of eating and adab of a host. See, guests, they have their own adab, and host, they have their own adab as well, right? When it comes to the adab of guest, right? First and foremost, now talking about the host, I'll talk about the host. It is up to the host to, it's on him to entertain and see, like I said, this comes all under this tafsir, right? Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu la tadkhulu buyutan nabiy. Ayah number 53, we're just elaborating on this, right? Different adabs of host and guest, right? Hosting in, or when you're a guest at somewhere, right? So understanding that it is the job of a host to entertain the guest, right? It shouldn't be the guests are there unattended. The guests are sitting in the living room, and the hosts are somewhere else. The hosts are inside, or the host, at times, subhanAllah, this happens, right? The host at times, he is sitting, right? The poor guest is sitting inside the room, inside the living room, or wherever he's sitting, and the host, he is nowhere to be found. And at times, even when the host comes, the host, he doesn't entertain the guest, and the host, he looks at the guest's face, and the guest looks at his face. Right? So there's no type of engagement. There's no there's no conversation. Right? So this is something that's on the host that he needs to take care of. On the other hand, as a guest, it is on you. This is this is your responsibility that once you're invited into someone's house, that you shouldn't, this is one habit that everyone has, right? For example, you're sitting, unless if it's your relative's house, or and they're okay with it, that's different. But let's say you go to someone's house, right? Now what happens is that the guests are sitting, and the host is talking to you, and at times what happens is, let's say there's a phone, or there's some sort of decoration placed on on the side chair, or on the side table or something. You pick it up and you start playing with it, or you start tampering. You start just looking at it or doing something. No, you need permission. You need his permission, because it's not your house. It's not your belonging. You need his permission to grab it, right? So at times, this is one habit that we like to do. Whatever we see, find our hands on something, we pick it up. We pick it up and we start playing with it, or tampering, or whatever we do, right? The other thing, as a guest, you shouldn't do is that your eyes shouldn't be wandering. Right. A lot of times, this happens with people as well. The guest comes inside, and now the guest just looks around. If the host gives you a tour of his house, see, these are all adab that we need to learn. If the host gives you a tour of his house, that's fine, that's okay. But it shouldn't be that your eyes are just wandering. Subhanallah, what's inside the kitchen? Oh, you have the bathroom there, and you start looking there. Subhanallah, the host at that time, obviously, how would you feel if someone comes to your house and just starts looking around, right? You wouldn't feel too comfortable, right? You would say, come on, I haven't even given you permission to look inside my house, right? This is one thing that we need to take care of as well. inshallah. The other thing, my dear respected brothers and sisters, that we really need to look at is that when we eat food, right, it is on the host to feed the guest first, right? At times, and subhanAllah, our children, we need to tell our children as well, no, that you let the guest eat first, and then you eat, right? You let the guest, serve. When you start to serve, start with your guest, right? Don't start with your children. People say, let me feed the children first. You're feeding your children first, and then some people do. That's not everyone. I'm just saying, and then thereafter, the guest come. No, feed the guest first, and then you should eat. At the same time, this is another adab that now when the two of you are eating, right? This is on the host. You should eat at the pace of your guest, right? If he's eating a little fast, try to eat keep up with him. Now, on the other hand, it shouldn't be that this. I've seen this as well. SubhanAllah, we see this beautiful religion of Islam teaches us so many things. Another thing we need to take into consideration that we need to is that when the host, right, the host shouldn't finish before nor after the guest. What happens if you finish before? Let's say there's food, right? You eat a plate of biryani and you eat your food and now you're done, right? The guest will feel bad. And this is something that you don't want. Right? How does the guest feel bad? The guest feels bad, because the guest is still hungry. And obviously the guest, he feels uncomfortable. He thinks that, subhanAllah, I'm the only person eating. And, he doesn't want to make it seem like he eats a lot or he's the only, you don't want him to turn out to be a loner at that time, right? So it is up to the host, to eat with him, right? On the other hand, the host shouldn't finish his food after the guest. Now, the guest has consumed his food. Now, the host, right? The host is there. Now he's taking his sweet time, so the guest feels left out at that point as well, right? The guest feels left out, and he thinks that, what, I should have finished with him. Then again, subhanAllah, you are causing this pain, even the slightest of pain. Causing the slightest of pain to another Muslim is not allowed, right? So this is something we need to abstain from as well. Another thing when it comes to being a host, right? You should ask, when you offer things to your guest, you should ask him first. For example, they've prepared, mashallah, a lot of dishes, right? So you have shrimp, you have other fish. The guest doesn't like shrimp. Obviously, everyone has their own tabi'ah. It's in their own nature, whatever they like, and so on and so forth. But you go up to the guest and you take this bowl of shrimp and you just pour it in his plate. You say, it's okay. My wife has shrimp. Obviously, alhamdulillah, let that reward your wife. Whoever has cooked this food with so much love and so much care. But the guest does not eat it. He doesn't consume shrimps, and you're forcing him. Now, obviously, if the guest doesn't eat it, he'll think that if he doesn't eat the shrimp, then he'll think that then the host will think that subhanAllah, it causes a lot of problems, right? And these are all problems that we need to abstain from. All of these other problems that we need to abstain from. Now, it is also on the guest. It's not on him, but it's better if he does this out of good akhlaq, that he praises the food. Whether you liked the food or not, see, that's different. That's different. Whether you like the food or not, praise the food, right? Say, I thank whoever has cooked the food. I thank your wife. May Allah reward. Give them. These are akhlaq that we need to adapt. Right? These are akhlaq that we need to have. Tell the husband, say jazakallah to your wife for cooking this food, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward your family. Give them a dua. Make dua for the children. Make dua for them. Right? What will happen at that point? The children will feel happy. Right? They will feel happy. Not only the children, the husband and the wife will feel happy. Right? That's one thing. Another thing, pertaining to this at that time, is there were those who came early and there were those who left late. Right? Those who left late. Now, فَإِذَا طَعِمْتُمْ فَانْتَشِرُوا وَلَا مُسْتَأْنِسِينَ لِحَدِيثٍ. Another adab that we have to learn is that when you know that food has been served, right? this is another habit that we have. We need to take it. We need to take out another bad habit. Once you know the food is done, alhamdulillah. Obviously you sit down for. Some people sit down for chai. They sit down for some tea or something, right? You've had your tea, alhamdulillah. Now that's it. Ala rislik. It's best for you to go back. But now you're sitting there, and now obviously you're causing. Now, subhanallah, the host. Let me tell you this. The host obviously he will not tell you to leave. If he tells you to leave, then may Allah have mercy on that host. But a host will never tell you to leave, right? He won't tell you, just leave, please. It's getting late. I need you to leave, right? Right? And as a host as well, this is against adab that you shouldn't look at the clock as well, right? At times, subhanallah, this is a way of telling the guest that it's. So, let's say there's a guest right at your house. Now you have the host. Obviously, you have your things to do. The wife needs to clean the dishes, and you need tomorrow. You have work tomorrow, or so on and so forth. But you look at the clock now, and you constantly look at the clock. You're indirectly telling you that look at the clock. It's kind of late now. You need to leave. See, by doing this, you may cause some pain to your guest as well. So this is something that you need to abstain from as well, right? And as a guest, subhanAllah, Allah Ta'ala has given you aql, Allah Ta'ala has given you intellect, but this is on you. You should tell if the husband doesn't realize, the wife should tell the husband, right? The wife should tell the husband, or the husband should tell the wife if the wife doesn't realize. One of them, right? As Shu'aib alayhi salam used to say, "Alaysa minkum rajulun rashid." Right? Isn't there any smart person amongst you, right? So there has to be, someone has to say this, and either the husband tells the wife or the wife tells the husband, or the kids, Allahu Akbar, they tell the parents, right? That it's time for us to go. Alhamdulillah, we had food. Alhamdulillah, we had, فَإِذَا طَعِمْتُمْ فَانْتَشِرُوا وَلَا مُسْتَأْنِسِينَ لِحَدِيثٍ, right? So, see, then again, ulama have mentioned this isn't khas for Rasulullah, but it's aam, right? These ayat are aam for everyone. There are general ayats for everyone, right? So when you're done, had your food, had your tea, your mithai, whatever you had, now it's best for you to leave. You had your dessert, you had your sweets. It's best for you to leave, right? Now, the adab of eating and shurb are أن يكون الطعام حلالا طيبا. One of the adab, one of the etiquettes of food, consuming food, is that it should be halal. And number two, النية بالأكل للتقوية على عبادة الله. Right? That a person should make this intention of taqwa, that whatever food I'm consuming, the energy, inshallah, I will use this energy for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for for his deen. And number three is that a person should wash his hands thoroughly, right? Wash your hands thoroughly before eating, right? And number four, وضع الطعام على سفرة, that the food should be placed on a tablecloth, right? It's on that times we say, it's okay for me to just eat on the carpet, or you're eating on your bed or something, right? There's no harm in it. But then again, this is going against the adab, right? You're going against etiquette, right? There's no harm in it. Obviously, do you get any sin on it if you eat on a, that's what people ask for, right? If you get any sin if I eat on the carpet, or if I let's say you just put your plate, right? You have a plate of salad and you have a plate of rice or something, and you're eating, and you're eating on a carpet, or you're eating on your bed or something, right? So this is something that you should abstain from. Have your tablecloth and then eat, and it's best for you to eat on the floor as well. Right, those who eat on chairs, there's no harm. But the sunnah of Rasulullah ﷺ is that he would consume his food on on the floor. And how do you do that? By raising your right leg and sitting on your left leg. And if a person forgets to recite Bismillah in the beginning, فَإِذَا نَسِيَ فِي أَوَّلِهِ فَلْيَقُلْ بِسْمِ اللَّهِ أَوَّلُهُ وَآخِرُهُ. Right? Bismillah wa ala barakatillah. Right? In the beginning. If you forget in the middle, Bismillah awwaluhu wa akhiruhu. At the end, Alhamdulillah alladhi at'amana wa saqana wa ja'alna min al-muslimin. Or you can say, Allahumma at'im man at'amani wa sqi man saqani. Right? If you're eating elsewhere. And subhanAllah, another thing is that a person, if you eat, you should try to eat with your fingers, and you should try to lick your fingers after eating food, and you should lick your plate. Make sure you eat up your plate. Make sure there's no, there isn't a single grain of rice, or there isn't anything, no gravy. You should lick your plate and eat it clean. Why? Because this is something that this was a practice of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He would he would lick the plate, and he would take his finger, rub it against the pot or the plate, and then whatever remained on his finger, he would eat it. Right? Basically, licking the plate and cleaning the plate. Right? When a person does this, the plate, subhanallah, makes a dua for you, and the plate says, Ya Allah, save this person from the fire of Jahannam the way this person has saved me from shaitan. Allahu Akbar. Right? So, may Allah Ta'ala give us the opportunity to make this dua. Ameen. On one occasion, Yahya bin Zakaria alayhi salam, he sees Iblis, and he asked Iblis, Ya adu Allah, O the enemy of Allah, هل عندك ما تضلني به? Do you have anything, any means through which you can misguide me? So he said, Ya Yahya, ليس لك عندي ما أضلك به إلا شيء واحد. That I just have one thing. Right? What is that one thing? He said, أن تأكل كثيرا, that you eat a lot, and you drink a lot. By doing that, you become lazy. عن أداء الصلاة في أوقاتها. Said, I just have one thing. So Yahya alayhi salam, I'll say it again, Yahya alayhi salam, he asked Iblis, O enemy of Allah, do you have anything through which you may mislead me? So he said, I have one thing. That's what Iblis said to Yahya alayhi salam. He said, I have one thing. He said, if you eat a lot and if you drink a lot, what will happen is that you'll become lazy. عن أداء الصلاة في أوقاتها. You eat a lot, you drink a lot, you will fail to offer your salah on time. Why? Because you become lazy. فقال له يحيى والله لا أشبع بعد اليوم أبدا. Yahya alayhi salam said to him that from this day onwards, I will never eat to my full. فقال له إبليس, Iblis said to him, أنا والله لن أنصح بعدك أبدا. That I will never advise after this. Right? And subhanAllah, when you look at this, Allahu Akbar, it comes that من كثر, it's been said, من كثر أكله كثر شربه. You eat a lot, right? And you subhanAllah, you find this, subhanAllah, with people. Those who eat a lot, they drink a lot, right? من كثر أكله كثر شربه. You eat a lot, you drink a lot as well, right? ومن كثر شربه كثر نومه. You drink a lot and you eat a lot, what happens? You sleep a lot. You'll notice this with those who eat a lot, subhanAllah, they tend to sleep a lot as well. ومن كثر نومه, and who sleeps a lot, he becomes lazy. Not only does he become lazy, but he has more desires, right? So meaning that you always crave for more, right? You always crave for more things, right? If you sleep a lot. This is what people have said. And those who crave more, قَسَى قَلْبُهُ, their hearts harden. وَمَنْ قَسَى قَلْبُهُ, and those who have hard hearts, right? غُرِقَ فِي الْآثَامِ, they drown in sin. And this is, when you actually look at this, no one needs to tell you this. I don't need to tell you this, not a doctor. A doctor doesn't need to tell you this. You can find out yourself, right? You eat a lot, if you drink a lot, you don't feel comfortable, right? Because now you don't want to walk and you don't want to sit down properly, so you want to lie down. When you want to lie down, then obviously Naum kicks in, sleep kicks in. Then you want to sleep. And obviously now you want to, and then what happens to a person? He sleeps a lot. When you sleep, you also become ghafil. You also become heedless. And then also you have, and then it builds more. I don't want to get into the details of this, but of what happens, this happens, and that happens. But But the end result is that your desires increase as well, and you don't feel comfortable. And what happens as a result when you're in result to that, when your desires increase, is that your heart hardens, right? And once your heart becomes hard, you can't shed tears out of the fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't. It's hard for you to remember. It's hard for you to remember Allah ta'ala. When it becomes hard for you to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you don't have any devotion in salah. When you don't have any devotion in salah, salah is a cure to all things, right? Then then you have the whole domino effect. Then stress kicks in, then you don't feel like doing anything, then you want to eat more, then you want to satiate your nafs, then you want to satisfy your nafs through eating. Now you don't care if it's through halal or it's haram, you just want to eat, and subhanAllah, the whole chain reaction happens. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding. Ameen. So this was just a little, some of the few things that we need to discuss about adab. Although so many things can be discussed about about this, and so many other things in the surah, but this was one thing that we needed to focus on, right? Then another thing, subhanAllah, in ayah number 59, we understand. يا أيها النبي قل لأزواجك وبناتك ونساء المؤمنين يدنين عليهن من جلابيبهن ذلك أدنى أن يعرفن فلا يؤذين وكان الله غفورا رحيما. الله أكبر. This is قل لأزواجك وبناتك ونساء المؤمنين. This is for not only for أزواج مطهرات, not only for the daughters of Rasulullah sallallahu but for the women folk, right, as well, to do parda, to cover themselves, right? And there are so many benefits, Allahu Akbar. One thing, obviously, understanding that this is the hukm of Allah Ta'ala, and this is something that we need to do, we should do, that the women folk should do. One story comes to mind is what happened once was that my friend's mother actually said this to me. What happened was that she was in Pakistan once, and she had 3 sisters. They were going out. This happened in Karachi many years back. So they were going out, and what happened was that at that point, so there were 3 sisters, right? 2 didn't do parda. Parda of the face, the full niqab. They just covered themselves, right? It was just the scarf that they wore, and one of them wore one of them did the full niqab, right? Now, as they were going, what happened was they were approached, and this was pretty late at night. They were going somewhere for shopping or Allahu A'lam. So they were approached by a few guys, right? And obviously, you can understand they were approached by either thugs or whatever, some gangsters, Allahu A'lam, right? So they said that, it's late at this time. You girls shouldn't be out here, right? And they said, I swear to you, had your mother not been here with you, we would have taken care of you. We would have done something to you, right? So, subhanallah, she said, little did they know, she wasn't my mother, she was my sister. Allah. See, this is one thing. when a person decides to follow the practices and the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he understands how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helps him, and this is unseen help. SubhanAllah. It's help from ghaib. Little do they know, she's not their sister, right? Little do they know, she's not their mother, she's their sister, right? But they're saying, had it not been for her mother, right? Because now they think, the mother is in niqab, and the other, they're wearing the scarf. They said, had it not been for your mother, we would have taken care of you, right? So she said, from that day onwards, I said, no matter what happens, until my last breath, I will, inshallah, do the full niqab, right? There are benefits on top of benefits on top of benefits that we can discuss. SubhanAllah, this is just one story, right? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us. And see, another thing, ذَلِكَ أَدْنَى أَن يُعْرَفْنَ فَلَا يُؤْذَيْنَ, right? Another thing, a lot of the women folk, they question, and they say that, that this person looks at me, or he's looked at me at this way. Sisters say, he's looked at me. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect our sisters and our mothers and daughters and all the women folk. I mean, they say, this person, he's looked at me at the wrong way. This person, so it's understandable. Obviously, let's say you live in an area where there are a lot of thieves, right? A lot of robbers. You unlock your door. You leave it open, and you have your valuables inside. You have your expensive assets inside. You have your assets inside. Now that robber comes inside, he looks at all the assets, he picks up those assets, and he leaves. Who to blame? At that point, would you blame the robber, or would you blame yourself for not locking the door? Right? The women folk, the question, to them is, why would you display your beauty to others? Obviously, now lock your beauty, lock your beauty in a way in your niqab, and then subhanallah, you'll find out that no one will look at you, right? Because the only thing they can see is probably your eyes or something, right? And no one will look at you, right? And at that, subhanallah, when a person decides to wear sunnah clothing, or when a person decides to wear, Allahu Akbar, when a person decides to follow the sunnah and follow the practices of Rasulullah and the teachings of Rasulullah, you find out that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives you so much izzah. Honestly, understanding that I have a beard, and every time I go to the States, now look at this, I go to the States, I cross the board, alhamdulillah, I've never had any issues. I wear my hat, I wear my jubba or whatever I wear the kurta. I go, and subhanallah, the Christians that are, who are there at the customs, right? They'll look at me and they'll say subhanallah, they won't say subhanallah, but they'll say that, I love your clothing. It's amazing. Where'd you get this from? I've never seen it. And you know what they say? They say, I forget the word. They say, I love your costume. Yeah, they say, I love your costume, or I love your dress. I love your, because they don't know what to call it. They don't know if it's called a jalabiyah, they don't call it jubba or anything else, right? They don't know what to call it. But and the same goes for women folk as well. You'll understand that once a girl decides to wear a scarf, she'll have more izzah. She decides to wear a niqab, she'll have even more izzah, right? This is izzah that Allah Ta'ala gives her in this world. What is to say, Allah, what is to say of the hereafter, right? So I hope the women folk understand this, that, it is our fault. The women folk need to understand that it's their fault, that they obviously now they want to put on makeup, they want to put on cologne, and they want to go outside and display their beauty. And now when someone looks at them, they say, this person looks at me. Obviously, it's like the same the same thing that I mentioned. You leave your house open, someone comes inside, steals everything, and then you say, what? This robber, he came and took everything. Right? So who to blame? No one but yourself, right? So the women folk, this is what I would tell you as well, that cover yourselves, inshallah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you will have the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now with this, we come to the end of our Surah Ahzab. A couple of things that we need to discuss. It. Moving on to Surah Saba, right? This surah also mentions qa'id, and it gives response to their question, right? Last but not least, it also talks about the Qawm of Saba, right? That's why it's called Qawm of Saba, right? And as I mentioned, see how this ayah, now we won't delve into the surah too much. We'll talk more about Surah Fatir, then move on to Surah Yaseen, and then finish off the 22nd juz. But see, as I mentioned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala answers a lot of their questions, right? As they would ask, why does this happen? Why does that happen? Right? So, وَقَالَ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَا تَأْتِينَ السَّاعَةُ. Right? They would say, Qiyamah will not, and this is, nations before Rasulullah would say this as well. It's not going to come to us. It's not going to come to us. So in response to this, Allah Ta'ala says, قُلْ بَلَا وَرَبِّي لَتَأْتِيَنَّكُمْ عَالِمِ الْغَيْبِ لا يعزب عنه مثقال ذرة في السماوات ولا في الأرض ولا أصغر من ذلك ولا أكبر إلا في كتاب مبين. Everything is written in the book. It is going to happen. لَتَأْتِيَنَّكُمْ. It will come to you. See, in response to this. And why does everything happen? Why will Qiyamah come? لِيَجْزِيَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُم مَغْفِرَةٌ وَرِزْقٌ كَرِيمٌ. See, answering their questions again, right? لِيَجْزِيَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, because, so, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can reward those who have done good in this world. وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا, looking at ayah number 10, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا دَاوُودَ مِنَّا فَضْلًا يَا جِبَالُ أَوِّبِي مَعَهُ وَالطَّيْرَ وَأَلَنَّا لَهُ الْحَدِيدَ. Right? Understanding that Dawood alayhi salam, whenever he would recite the Qur'an, the mountains would sway, the birds would come and listen. Right? Another blessing Allah Ta'ala, had given him, another miracle was وَأَلَنَّا لَهُ الْحَدِيدَ. We had softened hadid. Today it takes so much time to just bend iron, right? SubhanAllah, Allahu Akbar. It's been said how a person is able to mold wax, right? You're able to mold it, it's meaning, it's soft and you can mold it anyway, or kind of like Play-Doh, how a person you have clay or you have Play-Doh or something, right? You're able to mold it with ease, right? With ease, right? وَأَلَنَّا لَهُ الْحَدِيدَ. This was one thing that was given to that he could soften hadid, iron, with his bare hands, right? And he would make armor out of it. وَلِسُلَيْمَانَ الرِّيحِ, right? And Suleiman alayhi salam, the wind was made subservient to him, and it would take him from places to places. And not only this, jinns were also under Suleiman alayhi salam, right? يَعْمَلُونَ لَهُ, as Allah says in ayah number 13, يَعْمَلُونَهُ لَهُ مَا يَشَاءُ من محاريب وتماثيل وجفان كالجواب وقدور الراسيات اعملوا آل داود الشكر وقليل من عبادي الشكور. Right? وقدور الراسيات. So these jinns, they would make different they would make tents and different have different, they would construct different things, different structures for Suleiman alayhi salam, different things. And قدور الراسيات. What are قدور الراسيات? Immovable pots, right? The one story comes to mind when it comes to immovable pots. And this story, as you understand, when we read this, it also talks about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this surah. He talks about his rizq as well, right? That you will find in ayah number 15 as well. قُلُوا مِن رِزْقِ رَبِّكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا لَهُ. Right? And a few ayahs before this as well, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about rizq. أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُم مَغْفِرَةٌ وَرِزْقٌ كَرِيمٌ. Right? And a few others down, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about his rizq again. قُلْ مَنْ يَرْزُقُكُم مِنَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ قُلِ اللَّهُ وَإِنَّا أَوْ إِيَّاكُمْ لَعَلَى هُدًى أَوْ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. Right? Talking about rizq again. Another ayah, in ayah number 36, قُلْ إِنَّ رَبِّي يَبْسُطُ الرِّزْقَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيَقْدِرُ وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. Right? So understanding this ayah as well. Now I'll talk about qudur al-rahiyat in a second, immovable pots. Right? And there's a story related to this, linked to this. قُلْ إِنَّ رَبِّي يَبْسُطُ الرِّزْقَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيَقْدِرُ. Right? This distribution, it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. يَبْسُطُ, if a person becomes a millionaire or a billionaire, this is يَبْسُطُ الرِّزْقَ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ وَيَقْدِرُ. Right? And he, if subhanallah, this is something, Allah, وَلَكِنَّ أَكْثَرَ النَّاسِ لَا يَعْلَمُونَ. This is, my dear respected brothers and sisters, people have to understand this, that, the distribution of rizq comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One beautiful hadith that we need to understand is, just as a person can, just how a person can hide from his death, no matter where you go, honestly, you can have your bunker. You can have this, you can have that bunker, it will be bulletproof, it will be this proof, it will be nuke proof, but it won't be death proof, right? So no matter what you do, you can hide under the ground, you can be in the sky, you can be in the ocean, death will come to you, right? When Allah Ta'ala has written it for you, right? Just, this is, if we understand this concept, my dear respected brothers, a lot of our problems will be solved. Understand this, just as you can't hide from death, right? You can't flee death. Similarly, a person can't run away from his rizq. Your rizq, whatever your provisions, whatever is written for you, will come to you. Right? And we've already discussed it before. We won't discuss it again, but it will come to you. And if you find this, that if it's written for you to have this much, obviously, qayyid wa tawakkal. A person should, you tie the camel, then you rely on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that no one will take your camel. Meaning that, you go to college, you go to university, you pursue a degree, you pursue a career, and you leave it up to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever Allah ta'ala has wished for you, right? A lot of our problems will be solved, inshallah. So upon one occasion, Suleiman alayhi salam, he said to Allah, Ilahi, لو أذنت لي أن أعطم جميع المخلوقات سنة كاملة. He said, oh my Allah, Suleiman alayhi salam is saying this. If you give me permission to feed, Ya Allah, give me permission so that I may feed your entire creation. Obviously because I understand that he had jinns under him, insan under him, animals under him. Look, just imagine that kingdom. You imagine Allahu Akbar. Today everyone is astonished. And subhanAllah, you look at the kings of the world today, right? You have the king of this, Brunei, or so on and so forth. You look at their possessions, you look at their army, and a person is, you look at other dictators of the world, right? You look at their army. And then you say, subhanAllah, Allah has given them so much, they have so much, they have a lot of protocol, they have this and all that stuff, right? Allahu Akbar. You look at the kingdom of Suleiman alayhi salam. SubhanAllah. Just imagine, I read this on his takht, right? His throne. He would have several chairs on his arush, on his throne, right? Upon which jinns and insan would be, right? And then this arush would take him wherever he wanted. Jinns would follow him, animals would follow him. Not only this, there would be birds on top to provide, to protect him from the sun, to provide him shade. SubhanAllah, just imagine that, what Suleiman alayhi salam had. You think of that, and then Allahu Akbar, a person thinks, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given Suleiman alayhi salam this much, then what is to say of the kingdom of Allah ta'ala? As we've discussed it as well. As we speak, the universe, it increases. As the universe increases, we understand the makhluk of Allah ta'ala increases. As the makhluk of Allah ta'ala increases, the kingdom of Allah ta'ala increases. SubhanAllah. Allahu Akbar. Everything. SubhanAllah. And then a person realizes that Allah ta'ala is the greatest. Allahu Akbar. Meaning that Allah ta'ala is the greatest. There's none greater than him. Right? Allahu Akbar. So he said, Ya Allah, if you give me permission, if I'm given permission, I would like to feed the entire nation. All of your creation for one sanatan kamila, for one entire year. فَأَوْحَى اللَّهُ إِلَيْهِ. So Allah Ta'ala revealed to him, إِنَّكَ لَن تَقْدِرَ عَلَى ذَلِكَ. O Suleiman, this is out of your question. Right? You can't do this. Right? It's out of your power. So he said, Ya Allah, وَلَوْ يَوْمًا وَاحِدًا. So Ya Allah, just one day, right? So فأذن الله فأذن الله تعالى له في ذلك. So Allah Ta'ala gave him permission. فأمر سليمان الجن والإنس بأن يأتوا بجميع ما في الأرض من أبقار وأغنام ومن جميع ما يؤكل من أجناس الحيوان من طير وغير ذلك. So Suleiman alayhi salam, he instructs, so this is just for one day, just imagine. He asked for 1 year, Allah Ta'ala said, no, you won't be able to do it. He asked for, Ya Allah, just 1 day, right? So Suleiman alayhi salam, he ordered insan and he ordered jinns to go and get all the animals, whatever insan, whatever people consume, right? So meaning goat, and you have all vegetables and fruits and so on and so forth, right? And whatever birds eat as well. فلما جمعوا ذلك. When they gathered all this, they made, see, now it talks about صنعوا له القدور الراسيات. They made immovable pots for him, right? Obviously to cook, now obviously it takes, you're going to need, if you have that much food, you're going to need huge pots, right? So it talks about these immovable pots, as we learned in the Quran, right? وقدور الراسيات, immovable pots. ثم ذبح ذلك وطبخ, right? Thereafter, whatever was brought, it was slaughtered and it was cooked and all that stuff, right? Then what happened was, obviously now you need a place to put all this food. Right? So they made a dastakhan, a tablecloth. Right? فكان طول ذلك السماط مسيرة شهر. The length of that tablecloth was it was 1 month's journey. SubhanAllah. Just imagine how much food you would have there, right? 1 month's journey, right? وعرضه مثل ذلك. So the length of that was a 1 month's journey, and the width of that tablecloth, it's just a tablecloth, imagine the food on top, was 1 month's journey. Okay? ثم أوحى الله تعالى إليه يا سليمان بمن تبتغي من المخلوقات. So Allah Ta'ala asked, right through Wahi, then he said Jibreel alayhi salam to ask Suleiman alayhi salam, oh Suleiman, you know, where will you start? Because obviously there are animals of the earth, right? There are birds, there are animals of the ocean, right? فقال سليمان, so Suleiman alayhi salam said, Ya Allah, I will start with بدواب البحر, animals of the ocean, right? فأمر الله حوتا من البحر المحيط أن يأكل من ضيافة سليمان, right? So Allah Ta'ala, He instructed a whale that Suleiman alayhi salam, he's prepared this food and you go and eat from him today, right? فرفع ذلك الحوت رأسه وقال يا سليمان سمعت أنك فتحت بابا للضيافة. So that the whale raised its head and said, Oh Suleiman, because obviously understanding that Suleiman alayhi salam could understand their language, right? We did the story of the Namla, of the ant as well. So the whale raises the head and says, Oh Suleiman, it's come to my notice that you've opened your doors to hospitality, that you've invited me today, that you are hosting today. أنك فتحت باب الضيافة. So said, yes, وقد جعلت عليك ضيافتي في هذا اليوم. And you know, I've been asked by Allah Ta'ala to start with you. فقال سليمان دونك والطعام. So Suleiman said, okay, now it's just you and your matter. Now just start eating. Bismillah. دونك والطعام. فتقدم ذلك الحوت وأكل من أول الصماد فلم يزل يأكل حتى أتى إلى آخره في لحظة. Suleiman tells the whale, Bismillah, start eating. The whale starts from this side, starts from east, goes all the way to west, starts from one corner of the dastakhan, of the tablecloth, starts eating. And in one bite just consumes all that food. Just understanding the width of which was 1 month's journey, the length of which was 1 month's journey. It all that. ثم نادى أطعمني يا سليمان. الله أكبر. You know, you have some people, you know, some of our kids too, they eat so much, and then they're like, you know, I didn't have any food. So it ate everything, and after that, it turns to Suleiman and says, أطعمني يا سليمان. Oh Suleiman, feed me. واشبعني, and satiate me. فقال له سليمان. So Suleiman عليه السلام, الله أكبر. Suleiman alayhi salam said to the whale, أكلت الجميع وما شبعت. You've eaten everything. You know, whatever food we prepared, this was for the entire makhluk. It wasn't for you. You've eaten everything and you're still not full. You know, you bring someone like a medium pizza or something, like a large pizza. You know, subhanAllah, you have people, one medium is enough for them, right? Oh, subhanAllah, you have people, one medium isn't even enough for them, right? I had one friend who, this happened in front of my eyes. This is not a made-up story. In front of my eyes, he ate an entire jumbo pizza. Right? And a jumbo pizza, or you know, a jumbo pizza has 17, so basically he ate 17 slices right before my eyes. You know how you have a medium has 8 slices, then you have a large has 12, and I believe a jumbo has 17, then after that you have a party has 30 or something like that. He ate 17 slices right before my very eyes. After that, he ate poutine. So in his case was, Allahu Akbar, how Jahannam will say on Yawm al-Qiyamah, Hal min mazid, is there more, Ya Allah? Are there more people? That was the case with him. He would keep on eating. He would just eat so much food, and then he would just say, Hal min mazid, is there more? Is there more food? And I told him, I said, Allahu Akbar, you know, you need to relax. And then he said, you know, it's fine. He had more food, and honestly, Allahu, this is not a made-up story. This is, happened right before my very eyes. Ate 17 slices of pizza. And now you imagine, today we eat like 2 or 3 and we're full. Allahu Akbar, right? فأكلت الجميع ولا شبعت. You eat everything and you're not full. فقال الحوت, listen to the response. هكذا يكون جواب أصحاب الضيافة للضيف. Is this the answer of a host to the guest? Is this what you're supposed to tell? This is not what a host is supposed to tell the guest, right? If the food runs out, the host needs to have more. The host has to have, the host has to have more. And at that point, the Hut said, the whale said, "اعلم يا سليمان, O Suleiman, know this. أن لي في كل يوم مثل ما صنعت 3 مرات." O Suleiman, know this. Whatever you've given me today, I eat this. Allahu Akbar. Whatever you've made for me today, I eat 3 times more than what you've given me today. I eat 3 times the food, 3 times more than what you've given me today. وأنت كنت السبب في منع راتبتي في هذا اليوم. And today, because of you, I wasn't able to eat food today. Because of you, I wasn't able to eat this today. At that point, Suleiman alayhi salam, he did sajda to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and said, all praises for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ya Razaq al-Khalaiq min haythu la ya'lamun, the feeder of his creation, and he feeds them from Allahu Akbar, min haythu la ya'lam, from people don't even know where this food, where this rizq comes from. Allahu Akbar. When a person looks at you look at a blue whale, Allahu Akbar. Look at a blue whale, understanding that the baby blue whale, every day, for I don't know how long, for nearly a month or nearly 2 months, or until it doesn't become an adult, every day it gains nearly 2,000 pounds. Allah. The blue whale, every day, the baby blue whale, every day for nearly 2 months, Allahu Alam, for I don't know how long, it gains 2,000 pounds a day. Obviously, when you gain that many pounds, it obviously means you need more food, right? Allahu Akbar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala feeds us. Not only does he feed us, he feeds them as well. Right? He feeds everyone. وَمَا مِن دَابَةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala feeds everyone. Allahu Akbar. So this is something, my dear respected brothers and sisters, we need to understand. Right? As I mentioned, and this is what the surah talks about over and over again, right? Giving response to their questions. As Allah Ta'ala is the one who provides for you. Allah Ta'ala is the one who does this to you. Why don't you believe Allah Ta'ala is doing this? Allah Ta'ala is doing this, as we mentioned earlier as well. قُلْ مَنْ يَرْزُقُكُم مِّنَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Who is the one who's giving you this food, right? The whole purpose of this is that Allah Ta'ala is giving you this food, so you turn back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? So we have to move on. We have to cover this, and we have to cover Surah Yaseen as well. Our khatam is on the 28th. Just quickly moving on with Surah Fatir. So Surah Fatir, this invites disbelievers to Islam by observing and pondering over the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? Fatir means the creator. This surah is also known as, another name of this surah is Malaika, because in the first ayah it talks about Malaika. Right? Alhamdulillahi fatir as-samawati wal-ard, ja'al al-malaika رسلا أولي أجنحة مثنى وثلاث ورباع يزيد في الخلق ما يشاء إن الله على كل شيء قدير. Allahu Akbar. Right? There are those angels who have 2 wings, 4 wings, and so on and so forth. It's been said about Jibreel alayhi salam, he has nearly 70,000 wings, right, which spread from east to west. And Allahu Akbar, when he opens his wings, pearls and gems fall. Right? It's been said in different riwayats about Jibreel alayhi salam. Right? Then see, like I mentioned, this surah talked about the many blessings, and it calls mushrikeen, disbelievers, to the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is how Allah ta'ala does it, by speaking of his blessings. Ya ayyuhan nas, right? In ayah number 3, right? يا أيها الناس اذكروا نعمة الله عليكم هل من خالق غير الله يرزقكم من السماء والأرض لا إله إلا هو فأنى تؤفكون, right? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and this surah also consoles Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The next ayah as well. وَإِن يُكَذِّبُوكَ فَقَدْ كُذِّبَتْ رُسُلٌ مِّن قَبْلِكَ وَإِلَى اللَّهِ تُرْجَعُ الْأُمُورُ. Ya Rasulullah, and you see, like I said, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would feel, he would get upset that these people are denying, these people are not, because obviously he knew that if these people deny, they are to live in Jahannam forever and ever, right? So believe in Allah Ta'ala so you can be saved from the fire, right? Believe in Allah so these people wouldn't believe. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he would become very grievous, right? He would become upset as to why aren't these people believing? Don't they see this? Don't they see the clouds? Everything. SubhanAllah, it's been mentioned that had a book not come to us, right? It is enough for insan to just look at the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to, it is enough for insan to look at the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the greatness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? So that's why Allah Ta'ala says, هَلْ مِنْ خَالِقٍ غَيْرُ اللَّهِ يَرْزُقُكُم مِّنَ السَّمَاءِ وَالْأَرْضِ, right? Understanding that our rizq comes from the skies, right? Because it rains, and then, because when it rains, it reaches out to the ground, it goes into the ground, thereafter the ground produces vegetables and fruits, and we eat and we consume them, right? If Allah Ta'ala wants, wait, just understand this, no water, you have no water, no fruits, no vegetables, right? So when you have no fruits and no vegetables, okay, that's fine. A person says, fine, I'll live on meat, right? No vegetables, no fruits, right? No grass, obviously no water, no rain, no grass, no cattle, no goats, and then you have no cows, no milk, and it goes on and on. No milk, no cheese, right? So Allahu Akbar, Allah Ta'ala says, I am the provider of your rizq. Is there anyone other than Allah who provides, right? No one but Allah provides you. يا أيها الناس إن وعد الله حق فلا تغرنكم الحياة الدنيا. Allah Ta'ala, His promises, a truthful promise, right? Promise of truth. ولا يغرنكم بالله الغرور إن الشيطان لكم عدو فاتخذوه عدوا. Shaitan is a real enemy. Make shaitan your enemy. إنما يدعو حزبه ليكون من أصحاب السعير. Right? What is the goal of shaitan? And that's what he said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as well, that Ya Allah, I will try my best to take. Shaitan is destined to go to Jahannam. He's ordained to go to Jahannam, right? Shaitan, his goal is to take as many people as possible. Shaitan knows himself that he's destined to go to Jahannam. His goal is that, I'm going to Jahannam, I'm going to take them as well, right? So, إِنَّمَا يَدْعُو حِزْبَهُ لِيَكُونُوا مِنْ أَصْحَابِ السَّعِيرِ, right? So after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in ayah number 9 speaks of his another blessing on insan. والله الذي أرسل الرياح فتثير سحابا فسقناه إلى بلد ميت فأحيينا به الأرض بعد موتها كذلك النشور. You understand that there are deserted places which there are droughts and nothing. No insan can do anything, right? But it is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who orders the wind, that you take these clouds to those areas, to those lands, and then thereafter he orders the clouds to pour water, right? Now after being dry and barren land, now this land produces flowers, it produces grass, fruits, and so on and so forth, right? And then subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks of his creation. وَاللَّهُ خَلَقَكُم مِّن تُرَابٍ ثُمَّ مِن نُطْفَةٍ ثُمَّ جعلكم أزواجا وما تحمل من أنثى ولا تضع إلا بعلمي ولا يعمر من معمر ولا ينقص من عمره إلا في كتاب إن ذلك على الله يسير. Right? That you look at your own creation, how you were created from dirt, then a nutfa, ثم جعلكم أزواجا, he created you into pairs, وما تحمل أنثى ولا تضع إلا بعلمه. Whatever, your mother does not conceive it except without the knowledge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah ta'ala is aware of this, right? Everything happens through the knowledge of Allah ta'ala, right? And then he speaks of his another blessing, وما يستوي البحران هذا عذب فرات سائغ شرابه وهذا ملح أجاج ومن كل تأكلون لحما طريا وتستخرجون حلية تلبسونها. You know, Allahu Akbar, a person, dives and delves into the ocean, just elaborating, you get pearls, you find oysters, you open up the oysters, you find pearls, right? Then what happens, and then a person, this jewelry that comes to insan, you talk about emerald, talk about sapphire, and other parts, right? Where does it come from? It comes from the ground, right? It comes from caves, it comes from the ground, it comes from different mines, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is responsible for all of this, right? Today insan, he takes out gold, or a person goes and they take diamonds and you wear those diamonds, you adorn yourself and you decorate yourself with them, but then you don't remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah ta'ala says, I'm the one who's given you all of this, right? You look at the two waters that will merge with one another. One is, this is sweet water, the other is salty. This is a sign. Who other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala can do this? يولج الليل في النهار ويولج النهار في الليل وسخر الشمس والقمر كل يجري لأجل مسمى ذلكم الله ربكم له الملك. Right? That's why everything it's in its systems. Allahu Akbar. Nothing just goes out of system. There's a time for the sun to come out, right? There's a time for the moon to come out. There's a time when everything happens, right? So it is a beautiful system, right? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you. So why do you turn away? يا أيها الناس أنتم الفقراء إلى الله والله هو الغني الحميد. This is all for your benefit, right? You people are poor. We're poor. We have nothing. أنتم الفقراء إلى الله ونحن الفقراء إلى الله. We are poor. We have nothing, right? والله هو الغني الحميد. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has everything. And إن يشاء يذهبكم. This is a favor Allah ta'ala that He has done upon us, right? إن يشاء يذهبكم ويأتي بخلق جديد. If Allah ta'ala wants, He can wipe out the entire nation and bring it and create a new nation. Allahu Akbar, right? Then another sign, now in number 27, ألم تر أن الله أنزل من السماء ماء فأخرجنا به ثمرات مختلفا ألوانها ومن الجبال جدد بيض وحمر مختلف ألوانها وغرابيب سود. الله أكبر. ومن الناس والدواب والأنعام مختلفا ألوانه كذلك. You look at this, right? You look at insan. Just look at insan. This person he has light complexion. He has dark complexion. He is yellow. He's this. He's this. He's different types of color. Someone is short. Someone is tall. Someone is small. Someone is obese. Different people. Different characters, right? You look at animals. Not every animal is the same, right? Even in animals, you have so many different types of species. You look at fish. Just fish. You have so many different species. A person looks at you look at fruits. You look at you look at a green apple, you look at a red apple. They're both apple, but they taste different, right? Look at kiwi, right? Look at some other fruits. Allahu Akbar. Completely different, right? Different bananas. Even you have different varieties of food. Vegetables have different tastes. They may look the same, but completely, they're different. They're just, they have their own taste, different colors, right? Beet has its own color. Others, they have their own color, right? So then again, not getting into the details of this, we can just talk about this for hours and hours. When in nasi wa dawab, even look at the animals. Cows, some cows are brown, some are white, some are black, different colors. So these are all signs, just like I mentioned, and as scholars say as well, that this, the creation of Allah Ta'ala, just this earth, how this earth functions. It is enough for a person to, to recognize and acknowledge Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that there is someone who's controlling all of this. Right? So these are all the things that we need of the Surah talks about. With this, we come to the conclusion of Surah Fatir and move on to Surah Yaseen. Now, this surah also talks about aqa'id, but it talks about aqa'id in a unique and an elegant form. Right? It speaks of aqa'id in a beautiful form. That is why it's known as the heart of the Quran. Everything has a heart. The heart of the Quran is Surah Yaseen, right? Looking at ayah number 8, these ayahs and a few ayahs moving forward. إنا جعلنا في أعناقهم أغلالا فهي إلى الأذقان فهم مقمحون وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون. This is one dua, Allahu Akbar. It's so powerful. وجعلنا من بين أيديهم سدا ومن خلفهم سدا فغشيناهم فهم لا يبصرون. But we all know the famous story of when Rasulullah, right, he was going to migrate. Ali radiallahu went to sleep in his bed. Right, and Ali radiallahu anhu says, "This is the best sleep that I ever had in my entire life." Right, because I knew tomorrow that I would live my life, because this is what Rasulullah had said. Right, so now Allahu Akbar, they were waiting for Rasulullah came out. But Rasulullah walked right through them. Walked right through them, right, as the Quran says, إِنَّا جَعَلْنَا فِي أَعْنَاقِهِمْ أَغْلَالًا فَهِيَ إِلَى الْأَذْقَانِ فَهُمْ مُقْمَحُونَ وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ سَدًّا وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ سَدًّا. Sad means a barrier, right? So we made a barrier in front of them, a barrier behind them. فَأَغْشَيْنَاهُمْ, we put a veil over them. فَهُمْ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ, they couldn't see. Right? And this dua is so powerful, my dear respected brothers and sisters. If you have full yaqeen in this dua, by Allah, I'm telling you, subhanallah, you'll see the fruits of this ayah. وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ سَدًّا وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ. The one thing I can say out of tahdith only bin ni'mah. Allahu Akbar, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah, may Allah protect all of us. I've crossed the border several times with my hat, with my beard, with my jubba, with my kurta, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Never had any problems. Nothing. Where are you going? I'm going here to meet my cousins. Where are you going? I'm going here to do this. And at times, Allah, I don't even know what to tell you, subhanAllah, right? It's very, very smooth. Right? Very smooth. And nothing happens, subhanAllah. Right? And, this is so powerful. I don't want to take up too much time, because just on this ayah, we can discuss so many things. وَجَعَلْنَا مِنْ بَيْنِ أَيْدِيهِمْ سَدًّا وَمِنْ خَلْفِهِمْ فَغْشَيْنَاهُمْ فَهُمْ لَا يُبْصِرُونَ وَسَوَاءٌ عَلَيْهِمْ أَأَنذَرْتَهُمْ أَمْ لَمْ تُنذِرْهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. Right? And this is something that, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from this. Right? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save some of our brothers from this as well, and our sisters from this as well. Right? That they at times reach that pinnacle of, that height of arrogance and ignorance, that what happens to them is that سَوَاءٌ عَلَيْهِمْ أَأَنذَرْتَهُمْ أَمْ لَمْ تُنذِرْهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. Whether you warn them or you don't warn them, right, they won't believe. Right? So, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect. Now, from here, وَضَرْبْ لَهُمْ مَثَلًا أَصْحَابَ الْقَرْيَةِ إِذْ جَاءَهَا الْمُرْسَلُونَ إِذْ أَرْسَلْنَا إِلَيْهِمْ اثْنَيْنِ فَكَذَّبُوهُمَا فَعَزَزْنَا بِثَالِثٍ فَقَالُوا إِنَّا إِلَيْكُمْ مُرْسَلُونَ. This, moving forward, قالوا ربنا يعلم إنا إليكم لمرسلون وما علينا إلا البلاغ المبين قالوا إنا تطيرنا بكم لئن لم تنتهوا لنرجمنكم وليمسنكم منا عذاب أليم. There's a story that takes place, right? And this moves on to the 23rd juz as well, right? So this is the last page of the 22nd juz, but we will do this story inshallah tomorrow when we move on to the 23rd juz. I know for about 2 or 3 days we haven't been doing any hadith. So inshallah we will do our hadith and our dua, and inshallah we'll conclude today's session. So Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrates, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, and after reading this hadith, subhanAllah, you understand how the Jannah, subhanAllah, what it is. It says, قال الله تعالى, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, أعددت لعبادي الصالحين ما لا عين رأت. Every time I read this hadith, Allahu Akbar, just it should give a person goosebumps. Okay? I've created, so Allah Ta'ala says, I've prepared something for my slaves. ما لا عين رأت. No eye has ever seen this. No ear has ever heard this. ولا خطر على قلب بشر. No heart can ever perceive this, and no heart has ever perceived this. Just subhanAllah, just imagine. If I were to tell you there's a red car and the steering wheel is on the right side, this car has this car has that, you're able to imagine it, right? And then when I bring that car in front of you, the person says, this is somewhat, this is somewhat I've imagined in my mind, right? This is something I had, right? It's close to my imagination. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allahu Akbar. Throughout the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks of Jannah. Throughout Hadith, you find Jannah. You have scholars, they talk about Jannah. You talk about the rewards of Jannah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, this is something that no eye has ever seen. Let alone seeing this, your hearts can't even perceive this. So it is something that's completely, it's far beyond our imagination, or far beyond our comprehension. Allahu Akbar. If Jannah is like this, what is to say of Jannah al-Firdaus? Allahu Akbar. See, then again, it comes back to, this, as my teacher would say, if Jannah is your, I forget what he used to say. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Used to say, if Jannah is your, it would rhyme a little. It would say, if Jannah is your aim, then hold tight to your deen. It was something like that. Allahu Akbar. It was very beautiful. I forget what it was. SubhanAllah. So this, nevertheless, the meaning of this is that Jannah is something, a motivation. Everyone needs some sort of motivation. For instance, for doctors, you go through harsh studies, but your motivation is that you'll be making 300K, or you'll be making 400K. Your motivation should be for working in this life is that Jannah. Why do I want to make an effort in this life? It is to earn Jannah, so I can earn Jannah, and so that I can be amongst the dwellers of Jannah who will live amongst Salihin, Shuhada, Siddiqeen, and so on and so forth, and amongst prophets, right? So this should be your motivation, right? Subhanallah, ma la aynun ra'at, and wala khatara ala qalbi bashar. That with all of the description, Jannah is something that is so far beyond our comprehension, right? And one dua, inshallah, we can learn. This is, this is a dua that that my teacher used to recite every single day, right? And this is something, my dear respected brothers and sisters, that we need to recite as well. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min zawali ni'matik. Right? Ya Allah, I seek your refuge from the zawal of your ni'mah, from your blessings going away from me, right? From your blessings being uplifted. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min zawali ni'matik wa tahawwuli afiyatik, and from your afiyah, and from the removal of your afiyah. Wa fuja'at niqmatik. I ask you, Allah, from sudden calamities. And I ask your forgiveness, and I seek refuge from all of those things which will bring your wrath. Right? So subhanAllah, this dua is so powerful that any blessing that a person has, right? Any blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed you with, and subhanAllah, He's blessed us with, like every part of our, like every limb is a blessing, subhanAllah, right? So after reciting this dua and doing shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, obviously, and making sure that you use them properly, misuse them, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will remove these blessings away from you. right? Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min zawali ni'matik wa tahawuli afiyatik wa fuja'ata niqmatik wa jami'i sakhatik. This is one dua that we need to recite. And just to give subhanallah, a little taste, a little motivation for us. I'll say one thing. I won't talk about Jannah right now. Inshallah, we'll talk about Jannah when when we get to Jannah, when we get meaning like when we talk about the ayahs of Jannah, either in Surah Zumar or other surahs. In this world, everyone. Inshallah, with this, I will end today's session. You know how in this world, everyone just wants gold, right? Everyone fights for gold. Everyone just wants gold. You want gems and you want everything, right? So in this world, you have different types of trees, right? You have different trees, right? You have many, many trees. In Jannah, you have different trees as well, right? Different types of trees. The difference is in this world, see, our trees are made up of oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, and so on and so forth, right? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, as we find in hadith, as Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam has said, مَا فِي الْجَنَّةِ شَجَرَةٌ. There isn't, see, in this world, we have several trees, right? In Jannah, we'll have trees as well. In this world, trees are made of oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, phosphorus, sulfur, right? So on and so forth. In Jannah, مَا فِي الْجَنَّةِ شَجَرَةٌ. There isn't a single tree in Jannah. Okay? Understand this. There isn't a single tree in Jannah إِلَّا وَسَاقُهَا مِنْ ذَهَبٍ, except its branches are made out of gold. So all that carbon and hydrogen, nitrogen, everything's going to be left here. In Jannah, you're just living a life of luxury. You're living a life with, like, you'll be swimming in pearls. You have oceans of emeralds, sapphire, and it's endless, right? But then again, my dear respected brothers and sisters, that comes with a price. أَلَا إِنَّ سِلْعَةَ اللَّهِ غَالِيَةٌ أَلَا إِنَّ سِلْعَةَ اللَّهِ الْجَنَّةُ. Right? The commodity of Allah Ta'ala is expensive, غالية. And the land of Allah is what? Right? What is that commodity? It is Jannah. So we have to pay a price for it, right? And another thing, just one last thing. This is just to provide us, give us, motivation, inshallah, for the. I'm only saying this to give us motivation, inshallah, for the last 10 days of Ramadan as well. In this, everyone has a cough. I have a cough, Allah, but it's been, I don't know how long I had this cough. And and then you get sick, someone gets sick in this world, you have this problem, you have that problem. In Jannah, as soon as you enter into Jannah, announcement will be made, إِنَّ لَكُمْ تَصِحُّ فَلَا تَسْقُمُوا أَبَدًا. O people of Jannah, for you is everlasting health, فَلَا تَسْقُمُوا أَبَدًا. So say salamu alaikum to your cough, say salamu alaikum to your sneeze, say salamu alaikum to your any disease, whatever you have, فَلَا تَسْقُمُوا أَبَدًا. Right? It's siha forever and ever. Right? وَإِنَّ لَكُمْ أَن تَحْيُوا فَلَا تَمُوتُوا أَبَدًا. And for you, it is everlasting life, and you will never taste death again. Not only this, today, it's Allah, you have the woman folk, you have the males as well. You look at your beard and you say, oh, it's going white. I'm turning old. You look in the mirror. You say, oh, I have wrinkles on my face. I have wrinkles on my arm. You look. This is what people say, right? So this is glad tidings for those people as well. وَإِنَّ لَكُمْ أَن تَشِبُّوا فَلَا تَهْزَمُوا أَبَدًا. O people of Jannah, you are to stay young forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. فَلَا تَهْزَمُوا أَبَدًا. You'll never turn old. Say salam to those wrinkles. So this is just a little, we can just talk about this over and over and over again. See, everyone loves to talk about Jannah. No one likes to talk about Jahannam. Inshallah, we'll talk about Jahannam as well, the punishment of Jahannam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala honestly save us from Jahannam. I mean, a place where you will find scorpions to be the size of donkeys. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from Jahannam. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enter us into Jannah. I mean, so this was Jannah. Then again, inshallah, so every single day we'll talk about, a few things about Jannah, but one of the days, inshallah, we'll go full-fledged about Jannah and the rewards of Jannah. This is only done, I'm only doing this because we have 8 days left. Okay, we have 8 days left. This is a fuel. Every your car needs fuel, your Tesla, it needs your Tesla needs to be charged. Right? So our cars, right, our nufus, we need to be charged as well. This is our fuel right here, Jannah, right, and the pleasure of Allah Ta'ala. So inshallah, every day we'll have this fuel, we'll have this food. So, and the only purpose behind this is so we make an effort towards Jannah. We make an effort for Jannah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us the understanding of what has been heard and said. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you immensely, put barakah in your wealth and health and your families. Inshallah, I will see you tomorrow. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun ala al-mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Wa akhiru ta'awana alhamdulillahi rabbil.
This session is no longer being recorded.